In this video, we are going to go over the final exam that you guys will be taking next week. The final exam will be online, just like the midterm. And to access the final exam, you'll go to Canvas, the very last module in Canvas, and it'll be the final exam module. The final exam will be available on Monday at 9 a.m. and it will be due by midnight on Wednesday. So you have Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday all day to take the final. The final is different than the midterm because it is not timed. Once the final exam is available on Monday at 9 a.m., you can actually access the instructions and you can submit, once you're done, you can submit the final exam anytime before the due date, which is Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. On the final exam, there's going to be two parts. So there's going to be an AutoCAD part, which is 50 points, and then also an extra credit part, which is 5 points. So if you complete the extra credit correctly, then I'll add those points to your final exam. The instructions, or there's different steps for the final exam than the midterm because the midterm was timed. So you had to take the midterm within that allotted time frame. However, for the final exam after Monday, you can actually click the final exam quiz and it will look something like this. Okay, so you'll have your instructions here. You can click the instructions. Then in the instructions, it will say to open the startup file. So here's the startup DWG. You will not create your own new DWG file. Make sure to do everything within the DWG file that I give you. And then you'll just, right when you open this up, you'll save this file as, username _ final exam. So instead of startup drawing, we'll have your username. Mine would be jbergman _ final exam. Then while you're completing the final, I have this PDF here, and make sure once you're done, it looks identical to this PDF. The only difference is going to be your name. Okay, I think in the final exam we'll have my name or first and last name, but just make sure to have your name. That's the only difference. You want it to look exactly the same. Once you're done with the final, you will go to the this final exam assignment and click Take the Quiz. It will give you two options. So you're going to submit your DWG file in one and your PDF in the other. Okay. So now we're going to go over both parts of the final exam in more detail. So the first step will be to open the DWG file, the startup DWG file we just talked about. Then you are going to see a model tab that's going to have parts already drawn for you. You are going to have to draw one part, okay? So you'll only have to draw that one part and add some dimensions, and then you are going to create an assembly drawing. So again, I'll give you some completely drawn parts on Canvas, and then under an area that says assembly in the model tab, you'll actually, use blocks or Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V, however you want to do it, to assemble the full product. All right, and then after you're done with that, you are going to create a layout tab with the below criteria. So make sure you know how to insert viewports, you know how to add those callouts, which are just, the part numbers labeled. So make sure you know how to format your multi-leader style so it has the circles around it, so it has the part callouts. You have to make sure you know how to add a parts list, which would be formatting your table style, then adding a table. Make sure you know how to scale a viewport based on a given scale. So my PDF and the instructions will actually tell you what scale to use, and make sure that your viewports are using that same scale. And then you don't have to make your own title block. There'll be a title block on there already in the DWG file, and you just have to add text or multi-line text to the title block. A great example is this lab. So you will, basically, this is a viewport. This is your layout tab, and in your model space, the thing that isn't shown here, in the model space, you'll actually have to draw one of the components that you'll add to the assembly. And then you'll assemble all of the parts like this that we did. You'll add these part callouts. Okay, so you know how to do that. You'll have to add this table here. You'll have to add multi-line text. Here we used attributes to do that. It's going to be different. You'll just be adding, go to Annotate tab and add multi-line text for that part. Then you'll have extra credit opportunity. It'll be 2 to 3 fill in the blank problems. Okay, and you'll also have until Wednesday by midnight to complete this. Essentially, I'll give you a drawing and you must use the utilities measure tools to determine the answers. So just like M3 Lab 3, this was M3 Lab 3. This was the DWG file here. And then I asked you these 5 questions that you had to fill in the blanks. It won't have 5 questions, have a smaller amount of problems, but one of them will be to calculate the area. So remember, make sure to know how to calculate the area of something. We went over this previously. Make sure you know how to add and subtract areas. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the decision to take the final or to not take the final. Depending on your grade, you might not need to take the final exam. The midterms were 300 points and the final exam's only worth 50 points, okay? So because it's worth such a low amount of points, it might not affect your grade very much if you were to get a 0 for the final exam. If you're up in the air about it, I will be grading the final projects on Monday. So the final projects are due on Sunday and I'm going to grade them sometime on Monday. Then you can use Canvas's What If Grades tool to see if you need to take the final. Here's a link to it in the PowerPoint, so you can go here if you don't know what these what if tools are. I can't show you on my grade screen because it looks different than yours, but if you go to grades in Canvas, you can actually activate click on something and it will allow you to actually type in your own grades for future assignments to see how it will affect your overall grade. So after you grade the final project, you can go in there and type in 0 for the final exam and see if you'll still get an A or still get a B in the class. It might not affect your grade. And then you can, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can click on this link at home and it gives you instructions on actually how to do that. So that is all with the final exam. If you have any questions, make sure to email me. If you're confused with the What If tool too, you can email me on Monday to see if you need to take the final or not. I can easily go in and put 0 in for you and see what your grade would be. But it will be faster for you just to do it yourself, which is why I'm giving you instructions on how to do it, because I'll have a lot of emails next week. So just be mindful of that. Right. So again, if you have any questions, make sure to email me in a timely manner. The semester is wrapping up and I hope you guys enjoyed the class and you're doing well on your final projects. And yeah, let me know if you need any help. All right, thank you guys.